to my nigga Dom. TruPlayaz, let's go. This that true player shit. We gon' make it live with Big Dom. How they gon' knock TruPlayaz shit? We gon' take it farther than beyond. This that TruPlayaz shit. We gon' make it live with Big Dom. How they gon' knock TruPlayaz shit?
Good, everybody. It's man Big Dom coming live and at you. Another TruPlayaz Podcast. Another episode for you guys. As I have my, as you know, these guys are no strangers to you. I got JoeyG and Ricky Brown as guest hosts on the podcast. We're going to talk about the Wilder Fury Part 2 fight. I mean, this podcast has been quiet about it, you know, even before the fight had happened. But we're going to talk about it now because there's a lot of things that we saw in that fight that kind of like, I don't know how to say this, but it didn't look good for Wilder even before the fight for us, as us looking from observers from outside looking in. Because for my reasoning is because I saw the fight between him and Ortiz. And I saw Ortiz was getting shots on him, and he was just not, his defense wasn't as strong as it should be for heavyweight. And he was fortunate to beat Ortiz because he had that heavy right hand that he caught Ortiz, I believe, in the 7th round, I believe, right, guys? He caught him with that right hand and knocked him out. It was about the 7th round, I believe.
I don't remember, but I know he caught him.
Yeah. But the only thing is, Ortiz was tagging him up throughout the entire fight. If the fight had gone a full 12 rounds, I think Ortiz would have won by decision. And it just set up the strategy for Fury to come and beat him. Not only that, Fury fought him the first time, and which they ended up in a draw after. Yeah, ended up in a draw. So I'm gonna let JoeyG and Ricky Brown, whoever wants to step in and add to it. What y'all think?
Well, from my perspective, I didn't catch the fight live. I caught it on the tail end, and I did not see the Ortiz fight. But I ended up watching Part 1 and Part 2 back to back. And in my humble opinion, with this last one, with Part 2, I said it right from the jump, because I didn't see all the fanfare. I didn't see the whole ring entrance. You know, I didn't see all that extra. I just saw both fighters were in the ring, starting and getting ready to start the fight. They got announced and they got it on. In my humble opinion, it looked like Wilder was not in the best condition to begin with, starting the fight. By the end of the first round, dude was already breathing through his mouth. He looked like he was winded. He looked like he was tired. And he obviously put on some bulk to deal with this heavier opponent. I'm not saying that he looked like he was out of shape, but he wasn't himself. He definitely wasn't himself, and his fight game suffered for that.
Right.
Definitely.
Now, people are getting on him because he's saying that his entrance attire weighed like 40 pounds, and that by the time he climbed them steps and actually got into the ring, his legs were like spaghetti. Like you could feel like it was a whole new ball. I'm quite sure that added to it, because once I actually did see what get up that he was wearing, it didn't look comfortable. It looked like a crappy Power Rangers villain out. You know, it was extra. It was boasty. Like it was unnecessary. I'm quite sure that did hurt his game, but I don't think that was the ultimate, the end all to the reason why his defense wasn't up to par. You know, giving credit where credit is due, Fury controlled that fight with that left jab.
Right.
That long reach, keeping that left jab out there, Wilder was not able to load that wild right of his that he is notorious for. A lot of those right hands missed, and the ones that did connect weren't flush. You know, Fury took a lot of blows to the shoulder and to the chest because Wilder just wasn't hitting him where he wanted to hit him. He wasn't hitting him on the quote unquote button.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't really catch him. And my humble opinion, you got to give some credit because here's a big doofy looking dude, doesn't look, doesn't look the part, but the dude's a fighter and looks like he can brawl, looks like he can go.
Right.
He's not as uncoordinated as he thinks he looks.
True. My opinion is just that Fury just outboxed Wilder. He moved. He was moving. He had the quickness. He was moving like a gypsy. Every punch he was throwing at him, he would just glide out the way. Glide like a gypsy, Another thing too. People talk about his outfit, Wilder's outfit to the ring. That shows lack of focus. If you're concerned about how you're going to enter the ring and not try to go out and win the fight, that's your fault. No one else's fault but your own.
He came in the ring looking like Super Shredder.
As a matter of fact, I thank you for saying that. There's been a whole memes about that shit. Talking about if Shredder could beat 4 turtles in that same get up, what's your excuse?
I think I was gonna lay off of the memes because I do respect. I respect what he's done in boxing, and I do like his fighting style as far as Deontay Wilder I'm speaking on right now. I like his fighting style. I feel like he came out like a younger Tyson with the intensity that Tyson had come into the ring. I can't say that he had the same skills. It's totally different. They're unmatched when it comes to that. But he had the same intensity, and I was looking forward to him doing more. But like people of his caliber, they get caught up in those one-hitter quitters. They get caught up in that, and they lose track of the regular boxing skills, like the setup, the feints. Like every other fight, he knew he had it. He waited for it. Then he executed. This fight, he looked like he was pressed. Like he was pressing the issue. I want to knock him out. Like he had something to do. And he wasn't hitting his mark. He was not hitting his mark. He got beaten to the punch. His overhand right, it was not working. It was glancing off her shoulder. Fury he kept doing his thing. My man Soda Popinski, he was in and out, dodging in and out. He looked very evasive. He was very light on his feet. I think that frustrated Wilder. There was a moment in, I want to say round 2, where I felt Wilder got hit behind the ear, close to the back of the head. From that moment on, it was noticeable that he had footing issues. Like his feet were not under him after that point. As much as he tried to move and everything like that, he wasn't fluent. I mean, you could blame it on the equipment that he wore to the ring, but if you know you're about to step in the ring, there's no way in hell you should be putting on 40 pounds of equipment before stepping forward to the ring. Now, if that was your game plan, it worked against you in that fact. So the next fight, because there should be a next fight, you shouldn't come to the ring in that attire. If you're saying that equipment was part of your fall in this fight.
Right.
I don't feel it had anything.
Ric Flair robes.
Yeah.
Next time, just come to the ring in those Ric Flair robes.
Yeah, you could come in there like the Executioner used to back in the day. He come in with his hoodie. Come in the same row. We don't have to go through these extra theatrics. We don't have to do that. This is not the WWE. I come to watch boxing. I come to see y'all get down in the ring. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. It looks good and everything, but I don't want to hear excuses as far as costume. You're talking about costume issue that prevented you from executing your win in boxing. I don't want to hear that. Now, if it came directly from Deontay Wilder, I'm sorry. I got to call you out on that. But if it came from the camp or somebody else talking for Deontay Wilder, shame on you. And you deserve to be fired. That's my take on that.
Well, actually, the excuses. I remember when he was doing the interview after the fight, he said he was not going to make excuses, and the very fucking next day, he was making excuses.
Because we have to put it into perspective. He wants to look like he's not vulnerable. You lost the fight. Stick your chin up. He caught me with a good one. We're gonna move on to the next fight, and I'm gonna show you what I got.
Let me tell you something. He didn't just lose a fight. He didn't get knocked out. His cornerman threw in the towel.
The cornerman had every right to do it
for his fighter.
Listen,
for his fighter.
Listen, I was concerned for him from the moment I've seen his feet not working. I was concerned from that moment on. It was not a fight. It was survival at that point.
Right.
It was survival. I give it. He has heart. He has heart. He took those punches. He kept going. But at what point? He's bleeding out his ear.
Mm-hmm.
At what point is your corner going to be like, yo, I think he had enough? Regardless of what he says, the fighter says, I'm trying to preserve him for the next fight. That means he has to have recoup time and all of that.
Preserve for the next fight. That guy's flirting with death.
Right. You flirting with death.
You bleeding from your inner ear. That's right close to your brain.
Right.
Yeah, in all honesty, fuck the next fight. Do you want to be there for your kids? Like,
right.
Yeah. And by the way, he did fire that trainer that threw in the towel. He did fire him.
It's okay. He's gonna thank him later.
Yeah.
He's gonna thank him later.
That's the bad part about it.
He's gonna thank him later. I would have took that L with the almost. Oh well, you're still alive. That's all I care about. It wasn't about him. See, now that shows you the character of the trainer or the person that threw in the towel. They didn't care about that. It's not about the money for me. I care about the fighter. It's time to throw in the towel. You throw in the towel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you didn't like it. That's too bad. Watch the tape. After you finish watching the tape and you really suck it up and realize you weren't doing what you thought you were doing in the ring, because your mind has a different perspective of what your body was doing in that ring. I guarantee it.
Especially after taking those shots to the head.
Yeah, he was taking shots that were really hard. Nah. I couldn't be a trainer in this corner. I would have thrown the towel too. That was all like right. It was worse watching Apollo Creed get hit.
Oh man, it looked like a Rocky movie.
Yeah, I hate to put that in there, but if you see
they did play the Rocky theme between round 1 and 2. I don't know if y'all caught that.
I caught that.
It's about the kiss of death right there. Damn.
I caught that. Now I'm gonna move on to my theory, because the first fight he knocked out Fury in the first fight. He got back up, and it was a good back and forth fight. But I think Deontay Wilder had that first fight, even though they considered it a draw. Second fight, I believe that Fury knew that he rocked Deontay Wilder, and he tried to figure out what steps he could do to continue that. There was an interview that Deontay Wilder did where he admits that he had his bell rung in the first fight by Fury. He said he was hearing that the tendonitis you get in your ear, that he got hit so hard he was hearing it.
Let me tell you something, that shit is very painful. Ever have a tinnitus or earrings? That shit's painful. It'll drive anyone nuts.
And if it's not the pain, it is psychologically, it just messes with you.
Yeah.
It just messes with you. I go through my spells with that every now and then, where I have ringing in the ear, but it's like a background noise sometimes.
It feels like someone's crawling in your fucking. It feels like some bug is crawling in your fucking ear. But what the fuck? Stop! You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely. But check it out, though, guys. Deontay Wilder did activate the clause in the contract for the instant rematch.
I did. I don't think he should do it too soon.
It's good. He says he wants to do it in 6 months. I'm totally agree with you, bro. He should wait a year. He should wait a year.
He should wait a year and get trained up and heal.
Because Wilder's greatest weakness is his defense. He's very lazy with defense. Very lazy with his hands up.
And you know what that translates to is that you need time to build up your defense. That's first of all. And second of all, that's his ego talking. Oh, I want that rematch as soon as possible.
Heal.
Don't let that ego make that decision for you.
Right. Heal. Get time. Get time to heal. You're gonna need to come back with some defense. I want to see you bobbing and weaving. I want to see you elusive like Fury was in this fight. Come on. That dude should not be that elusive.
No.
He should not be that elusive. That big, what they call him? That big Hassa?
Yeah. He's 6'9", 280, and he moved like a gypsy. He's like, he's laughing at you too while he's doing it. Hey.
Yeah, but see, like just like that drunken master style. Like right. you think he's not on point, but the dude is moving. He's quick with it.
I think to his what do you call that? Something to add to his resume, if you will. He could take a punch.
Right.
Yes, he can.
He could take a punch, and he knows how to come back from that. Like, he knows how to shake that off and keep going. So those two things are dangerous in itself. He reminds me of those. I think we lost some audio. He reminds me of those old European brawlers, the ones that used to be bar fighting. they get drunk in those drunk bar fights and just go at it, and you think they're done, and they get back up, and it's just like, yo, haven't you had enough? Not yet. I'm still on my feet. I got some more drinking to do. Let's get it.
I'll have another fight.
Right.
Now, let me ask you guys a question, though, because, also Anthony Joshua, according to his, whether it's promoter or trainer on an MMA telecast, saying that Joshua wants to fight Fury.
Don't do that.
It'll be a waste of time, in my opinion. It'll be a waste of fucking time.
It would be a waste of time.
Are we talking about a unification fight?
Yeah.
I don't. That would be a waste of time.
First of all, it's definitely gonna have to be after the second Wilder fight. After the second Wilder.
The third one.
Right. It's definitely gonna have to be after that. That's first of all. That's first and foremost. Second of all, I don't think he's ready for him.
No, Anthony Joshua is not ready for Deontay Wilder. Even in his condition right now, I don't think he's ready for him. He doesn't have that.
Listen. Anthony Joshua could be Deontay Wilder's warm-up fight before he goes back to Fury 3.
Now, I agree with that. If he took the fight on that before Brian Fury, I keep calling him Brian Fury. Tyson Fury.
Go up at the next fight.
That's the next fight.
It's called the Gypsy King. The Gypsy King.
Gypsy King versus Brian Fury. Let's get it. Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
The Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder before the Tyson Fury fight would be ideal because it'd be a nice warm-up fight. He'll build his confidence and he'll have another notch win under his belt, get him tuned up for the next fight. This is where you practice those things that you're gonna do to Tyson Fury.
No,
I don't know. In all honesty, I think that's thin ice right there. That whole thing could backfire on him.
It could, but
coming off of this loss, that could backfire on him.
I'm just saying he needs a whole strategic change. That whole I'm all about offense thing and defensive shell for a little minute and then come right back with the offense is not working for him. He needs a little bit more bobbing and weaving. He needs a little bit more footwork, in and out, aside. He's not taking advantage of his angles. He's not at all. He's coming straight forward.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because that's exactly what Mayweather kind of figured out all on his own.
Right. He used Mayweather used the Bruce Lee style of fighting. Where
now I'm talking about early Mayweather compared to the Mayweather that we're dealing with now. Now that early Mayweather was moving a lot like Wilder, and look at his latest fight. He says, "I know I can knock him out. I got that knockout power." But at the same time, he's going to eat a couple punches trying to get that knockout punch. He's not trying to end up like Ali when he's 70.
Right.
That's why he fights the style that he does. He'll drag that match out 12 rounds and let y'all talk all the crap that you want. Guess what? I landed 500 more punches than my opponent.
Right.
Get him on the scorecard. Give me my money.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Mayweather, as much as Mayweather frustrates me as a boxer, I respect his style. I respect his style of fight. It may not be what I want, but it's needed for him, and it works for him. Defensively, he's sound. Offensively, he's more of a counter puncher. He's not aggressively going to go for a punch if he knows it's not there. He may play with you, hit you with a pity pat, just to rile you up to do something stupid.
That's a frustrate.
Yeah, to do something to make you frustrated, to do something stupid. After a while, getting hit with pity pats, you're gonna swing wildly. There's a moment in time where you're just gonna swing wildly, like motherfucker, leave me alone.
But like I said before, if Deontay were to take the warm-up fight against Joshua, we say loosely a warm-up fight for Deontay Wilder before he gets to Fury 3. But keep in mind one thing. Yes, you guys, Joe mentioned it could backfire. It could backfire, but also leapfrog Joshua into the fight against Fury for the unification title, where he comes across much more legitimate than he is right now.
We're looking at. I'm going to put this into perspective. It's just a theory. I think maybe he was trying to build a comeback story, if you will, so he can be considered like I don't want to say undisputed, but it just like he has it in him to come back from a loss. Like he could take this L, come back from this loss, and now he's considered a legitimate champion. Like he has a heart of a champion. He took the L. He showed that he could come back from that. He grabbed the belt, and now we look at him in a different light as far as that.
Well, mind you, with this next fight, it's not just the belt that's on the line. It's the lineal title that's also on the line as well, because Fury is also the lineal champion.
Right. Hey, grabbing both belts at one time, that's a power move too. Plus you get a nice purse, 60-40 split.
Right. But check it out though. One thing, if Joshua wants that fight against Fury versus Wilder could be all three belts that Wilder's going after.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Joshua and Fury were to fight, it'll be another unification title match.
Right.
And we all know Anthony Joshua had it is propensity for not wanting to fight nowhere outside of out of London. He wants to stay in Great Britain and fight, which I think is a bitch ass move. I mean that's why I question his character. If you claim to be up to the level of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, you should be fighting everywhere, not just in England, where your fans love you.
Maybe he has it easier over there with the boxers that he fights.
That too.
I'm just saying, if everything is given to him on that end, I wouldn't want to leave my home either.
But
I eat good here.
But listen, I mean, one thing for sure. I'm sure if I'm a boxer, I'm all into the glory of being a champion. But I also want to make the biggest purse I can make at each and every opportunity. And you're not making that big of a person in London. You're not. Are you gonna? Which place are you gonna make more money at? MGM Grand or in London?
Listen.
Yeah.
They gave me food. They give me clothes. They give me eats. They supply what he needs over there. He gets all the publicity is on him over there. There's nobody naysaying him, and they're not going to point out his flaws to him. Right. We're more critical people. We're more critical people as far as the United States is concerned. When it comes down to boxing, you got your ass knocked out. We gonna remind you got your ass knocked out. What you gonna do about that?
He beat Joe Lewis's ass.
We're gonna remind you of that. So now it's up to you to come back from that story.
I got you. But yeah. But you know what it is too is like I'm gonna do my final thought on the actual situation. Let you guys get your final thought on the situation. What I would like to happen, I'm sure you guys are in agreement, is that we want to see Wilder and Fury, the rematch, not in 6 months from now, but a year from now. I don't think Wilder mentally is prepared to go in 6 months to fight Fury in 6 months. If he does, his whole mentality right now is based on emotion.
Yeah, I think you should starve him out.
Yeah,
starve him for a year. Him for a year and let him get hungry for that. Let him eat, sleep, and shit that.
Think about it. Think about his errors going into the fight. All the big talking that he did against every other fighter. The costume going into the ring.
Right. Eat that.
You know what I'm saying?
Eat nothing but that, and use that as your motivational tool. So when you get in the ring the next time, we see a beast come into the ring. I did not see a hungry beast come into that ring this time around, and that's what I was looking at. I didn't see the Wilder come into the ring where he is showing off his he's getting it ready. Mm-hmm. He's letting you know, I'm cocking these back. We about to knock this person out. I didn't see that. I seen a person like, I just woke up out of sleep, not even warmed up right now. He didn't even have a sweat. You know how we walk into the ring and you have a sweat? He didn't even have that.
Right.
Your warm-up sweat. Mm-hmm. He was cold the whole fight.
Let me hit you with this theory. Do you guys believe that he was subliminally lost belief that he could beat Fury?
Say that again?
Do you believe subliminally he lacked confidence in the fight?
On a money standpoint, I'm gonna put this out there. On a money standpoint, it makes sense for him to lose this fight to gain the next fight and win. Mm-hmm. It's a pride thing. He could have been hit with that before, like, yo, just take the L in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of prided myself in not like completely closing myself off to all the politics and the build-ups and the 24/7s and the behind the scenes. I don't want to see none of that. I want to see what happens on the day, the night. I want to know what's going to happen when that bell rings. I don't care if you're carrying a 50-pound log on a 30-mile hike. I mean, if I'm gonna do your routine, I'm interested in that.
Right.
I don't want to see you beat up and knock out your sparring partner. I don't want to hear you talk all that trash and really did that for me. What was the dude that was De La Hoya punished him? Like, this dude talked about De La Hoya's wife, Talk
Camacho
about
Jr.
Yes. Oh my God. And De La Hoya, like he all that frustration that was built on De La Hoya after all that trash talk, he took all that shit out on him in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
It was a well-deserved beating, though.
It really was. It really was. But that's what that is really what turned me off from all that behind the scenes, all that behind the scenes politics trash. It is entirely possible that he may have been beat before he entered that ring. It might have been a Muhammad Ali move where, I done got in your head, and guess what? You're already beaten.
Right.
True.
It is entirely possible, but I wouldn't know it, and I'm kind of proud of that because it for me it takes away from the fight itself. I didn't come for the drama; I came for the fight.
Right.
If I want drama, I'm going to WWE.
Right.
There you go.
Because they throw punches and they throw chairs, right? You know what I'm saying?
Like Braun Strowman
and ladders.
And yes, I know it's scripted. I don't care. It's fun to see another person get hit with a chair.
I'm saying. and when the Dudley boys were there, I love people seeing it go through tables. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Listen, tables, ladders, and chairs is all about Dudley boys.
That's if I want to see the drama.
Right.
That's if I want that storyline. That's if I want that soap opera.
Right.
If I want a soap opera, I'm watching TV in the afternoon on a weekday. Not on a Friday night on a premium channel.
Can I say something real quick? Because we just found this out just yesterday. Can we give a rest in peace to HBO boxing?
Oh my goodness! I didn't know about that.
They had some of the most iconic fights ever. The Thriller in Manila, Rumble in the Jungle. And like these were all HBO events, but AT&T who bought HBO because of the decline in viewership, they decided to drop it, and they said, "Hey, look, it's not a sports channel, so."
That's some bullshit, though. To me, HBO was the official place to go watch a boxing match. It was official. The commentary on there was excellent. The behind the scenes where you got to understand the boxer themselves, where they came from, their records and everything like that. I looked to HBO for that. When it came down to Showtime, because I can't discredit them, I just found them a little bit boring on my part. They were a little bit boring for me. Yes, they've probably been more technically sound as far as their research about boxers and things like that, but it didn't have that same feel. When it came down to HBO boxing, everybody that was on that team, they were passionate about what they were doing. And talking about the fighters getting into the fight, like we were sitting there, like when we watch a fight together, we're very passionate about what's going on and everything like that. But as they're commentating, not only are they involved in the fight, they're still hitting you with the facts. Right. They hit you with the impartialness and everything like that. So I'm gonna miss that. And I feel like after Larry Merchant left, it was just like, yo, really?
Really?
Definitely. Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, all those guys.
Max Kellerman, I was looking forward to seeing more with Max Kellerman there in HBO. Because Max Kellerman, he reminds me of one of those people that's an instigator. He's an instigator with the boxing, but he has a lot of facts. Like, he's not going to hit you with something he did not research.
No. You got that right.
Now, I don't know if you paid attention to this, but before he started, he didn't have a split lip. So he must have pissed somebody off because he had a split lip.
Oh my goodness!
Look, I'm telling you, this is how in tune I was with HBO boxing. Like when he first came, he looked clean cut. Now he's rocking a goatee.
So, You got tough. You got a tough love for that events and stuff like that.
All right, he's a good researcher. I'll give him that. Max Kellerman's a good researcher. What is he on? CNN now?
ESPN with first thing with Stephen A. Smith. He can be a bit annoying, a little bit repetitive on the first thing, but on the most part, I agree with him on some things with him.
Right.
Not everything.
But he's not one-sided in his thinking though, and that's what I appreciate about him. He's not going to give you his opinion, his opinionated view. He's going to give you how it's seen.
Right. And that's what we need, not opinionated. We need what's being seen.
Right.
Right.
All right. So on that note, guys, we're going to have to wrap up this special podcast on recapping Fury Wilder #2. Now, I want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. Definitely listen to the podcast on JoeyG Radio, Spotify, Anchor, Spreaker, IHeart Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and hopefully soon to be on Pandora as well. And also, we got a future show. My main man, my bro, Joey G, Venting with Joey G. His podcast is coming up real soon. Gotta give that shout out for that. So,
we're gonna have fun with that one.
We're gonna have fun with that. We're gonna be a whole lot more venting, a whole lot more cursing on that one.
Yeah,
you know,
I promise you that we're gonna have a lot more. I want people to come on there, and I want people to vent, and I'm gonna give them the floor to speak their mind. As far as our guest hosts, whoever they may be, I'm gonna let y'all have the reins and lay into it. And plus, I'm gonna give you a little bit of that Bill Maher, where I'm gonna have a couple, maybe like 2 minutes to speak my mind to close out the segment, kind of like a Jerry Springer, and tell you my thoughts. Or I may be ranting. Yeah, my final thought. Or I might have like my rant for the day. So I'm looking forward to this. This is something I've been planning for a minute. I'm ready to go, and we're about to get it.
Absolutely. So any final words, Ricky?
Love, peace, and hair grease. I'll see y'all on the next podcast.
I hear you. Any comments, complaints, feedback on the podcast? Definitely hit me up on TruPlayaz Podcast at gmail.com, which is TruPlayaz podcast at gmail.com. And let me see. What else can I say about the podcast? Well, you know what? Shout out to coffee. That's in all upon me life, and peace, baby. Peace, baby.
Gridlock. Shout out to my nigga Dom. TruPlayaz, let's go. This that true player shit. We gon' make it live with Big Dom. How they gon' knock TruPlayaz shit? We gon' take it farther than beyond. This that true player shit. We gon' make it live with Big Dom. How they gon' knock TruPlayaz shit?